Hi folks, and welcome back to Travels with Paddles. My name's James, and today we are paddling to Beachy Head. Here's a map of the route, and total distance was 13.2 miles. We're launching here from Seaford Beach, just along from the Martello Tower, and more importantly next to the public toilets, which are always welcome after a long drive to reach the launch. This was a very significant paddle for Hannah and I, as it was the first time that we were out on the sea, just the two of us, with no other support. Soon after leaving Seaford, we came across this unusual sight of a wrecked yacht. I spoke to the person who was standing by and asked them if they needed any help. They replied that they were just keeping track of the wreck while the owners were being rescued further along the beach. Sure enough, as we rounded the corner, there was the lifeboat in mid-rescue. Once again, we offered our assistance, but the RNLI had everything well in hand, so we moved on. As well as wanting to do this paddle for quite some time, we were also using it as preparation for a paddle that we'd planned in France to visit the archers of Étretat. The plan for this trip was pretty simple. We intended to use the rule of thumb that on a rising tide the flow in the English Channel goes eastwards, and on the falling tide the flow goes westwards. We therefore left Seaford aiming to reach Beachy Head Lighthouse at high tide. However, as you'll see, the plan didn't quite work out, as by the time we reached the lighthouse the flow was already well against us. It's worth mentioning that this is a fairly committing paddle. Once you set off, there are only a few locations where you can safely get off the water. One is at Cuckmere Haven, the other is at Birling Gap. Although to be fair, getting sea kayaks up that staircase might be quite tricky. It was as we rounded this next headland that we really started to feel the flow going against us. But we also got our first view of Beachy Head Lighthouse, which pulled us onwards. We'd already been paddling for 2 hours at this point and were making slow progress against the flow, so we had a quick break on the water to eat an energy bar. Refueled, and with our goal now well in sight, we powered on to Beachy Head Lighthouse. As we got closer, we noticed that there was someone climbing out of the lighthouse. I spoke to the chap a bit later and discovered that he was from Trinity House, the people who maintain lighthouses around the UK. Apparently there was a fault in the mains connection from the land, and the lighthouse was currently running under generator power only. The chap was a technician who was here to repair the mains connection. This gave us the unusual opportunity of being able to see right inside the ground floor of the lighthouse. Also, check out the tidal flow already going westwards, even though it's only just high water now. We did a victory lap around the lighthouse, only to discover that there was another paddler who'd come to visit today too. The technician was kind enough to chat to us for a few moments, but his boat was coming to pick him up in a few hours and he needed to get the job finished before then. We also had a quick chat with the other paddler about the tidal streams in the area. With the obligatory selfie complete, it was time for us to head home too. And on the way back, we got a nice view of Bell 2, the old Beachy Head Lighthouse up on the cliffs. After a hard slog and around 3 hours of paddling, it was definitely time for a break and a spot of lunch. We stopped here on a little beach just before Birling Gap. It was lovely to have the place all to ourselves, especially considering the crowds just around the corner. Such a magnificent view of the Seven Sisters Cliffs. The return paddle was much easier as we were now properly going with the flow, and we were soon at Cuckmere Haven Nature Reserve. We even got to see the Transmanche ferry heading to France from New Haven. We'd be taking this ourselves in just a few weeks for the trip to Etretat. After a fantastic paddle and a lovely day on the water, we made it back to Seaford. Anyhow, I do hope you enjoyed this video of our paddle to Beachy Head. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, stay safe on the water.